in the world, and we're really lucky to have her back in Somerset. So please grab a seat. Big round of applause, please, for Alice. Thank you very much indeed. Good stuff. And we've got a microphone there for you as well. So firstly, thank you so much indeed. We've moved you back from after lunch to before lunch. I see the lunch is arriving, so please do stick around. We want to make sure that we also get some photographs as well, because it's a special occasion. It's a really, to put it in the words of the great John Turner, it's a great thing that you've come back to Somerset. So first and foremost, I think we've got time for probably 3 or 4 questions here, and then we'd like to open it to the floor. So, is it right that you're born and bred in Somerset, and it's a cider farm? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm born and bred at Bower Hill Cider Farm. I don't know whether a lot of you being Somerset-based know Julian, my eccentric father. Lots of nods, and on the walk of the way here, a good ambassador for Somerset. I grew up as a farm girl. I think he wanted me to be a boy, so I was a tomboy. Lots of hand-me-down clothes, lots of working on the farm, lambing, the hay, apple picking, cider making, proper farm girl. And discovered black and white movies when we got a TV at 11. Decided that, oh my God, I wanted to wear clothes that weren't hand-me-down, so started making stuff. Thought that it would be a bit more kind of exciting to move to London, and I did when I was 18. Stayed there for 20 years, but I've had a house in Somerset and always come to Somerset because I feel like it's my shire. Sorry, but I do. And I went backwards and forwards in the last 10 years from my house near Ilminster, juggling child and business and home, never able to just be in London. It was a tonic, always coming back. And then when lockdown happened, it was the perfect excuse to really kind of move back here permanently, because it was unsustainable, the kind of going backwards and forwards. And after 20 years of running around lots of different cities and all over the place, I knew that I kind of just wanted a change of pace. So we bought a place, my partner and I, Mark over there, bought a 28,000 square foot building in Ilminster for about the same price as 1 year's rent of a London office, freehold compared to that. And we made a really fast decision to move everything back here. So studios, atelier, a bar, we have a bakery there, we're doing lots of trying to do live music. And so my studio's now there. So some of my London team are with me today, but we've hired a lot of people locally. We now have a store there. We're aiming to have that as our HQ to build a heritage British luxury lifestyle brand. And I think the most exciting thing about coming home is obviously logistics are easier, but working and hiring locally has been amazing. And we've also, each week, I've been going out to see interesting suppliers. So putting all of our leather accessories with Pittards in Yeovil, working with Axminster carpets. I'm so excited about to launch the first carpets this side of Christmas. Rugs, sorry, not carpets. And we are, what else are we doing? Working with an outerwear company. It's not quite Somerset, but it's like very, very close, Dorset, over the border, which does all of our outerwear, and they do stuff for the military and the police. So finding local people to work with, hiring locally, trying to bring everything back, and yeah, celebrating Somerset. So in a long-winded answer, yes, I'm a Somerset girl, and I'm very happy to be an ambassador, so thanks.
It's, once again, it's great to have you here. You've achieved so much, everything from, those 3 letters, the MBE, service to your nation. You're international. You've designed for Madonna to countesses. By the way, I went to the Chelsea School of Art, and you were at St Martin's around about the same time as well. It's a real hotbed of creativity back in London in that time in the early 90s. What's been the highlight for you so far in this 20-year... I think you launched back in 2000, Temperley, London, is that right? What's been the highlight? Coming to Haynes Motor Museum, exhibiting at the you had a fashion show at the British Museum.
I think there's been many different ones because it's been quite a long time. We had an amazing store before the first recession, bigger recession in 2008. Big store in New York and in LA, and that was great because I was traveling a lot. And then post-child wasn't traveling quite as much. that, obviously, the MBE, I thought was a joke at the time. Still a bit silly, really, because I only make dresses. We're about to relaunch a line, actually, that's called Somerset, which is a more affordable line. It's all been relaunched in February, so that will be great, because that will really... We've even got my parents' hill, which I might get in trouble for, because I haven't told them yet, but it's on the swing tag, and that's mainly sustainable fabrics and being totally relaunched. So that will put Somerset on a label globally. But lots of different things. I feel like there's been 20 years of learning, and now we've come back after running around like mad people, and we've got a new approach. So I think better things are around the corner, to be honest. Let's hope after this last year. So it's been not an easy year for any of us, especially obviously in this industry. Especially showing, and then having the actual shows themselves. Many of you may not realise, but Alice was an early adopter of the kind of the multimedia fashion show, which actually, prefigured what you probably had to do, or many fashion designers had to do over recent months. Going back to the local move, how long ago did you decide to, or when did you decide, when was that epiphany moment to say, I'm going to come back to Somerset and literally lay the roots here, as opposed to Paris, Milan, London? When was that decision made, and can I ask why? Because I couldn't give up not being close to my family. I'm very much a family person. The farm and where I grew up is very much in my blood. I have to see the apples, I have to see the lambing, I have to still be part of that. And so I couldn't imagine really living anywhere else. So I had to have my base here and still travel. Like I had to go to Milan last week because it was Fashion Week, and business is not really happening in London the same pace as it is in Milan. So, and then Paris this weekend, but I'm really happy to kind of come and hide in Somerset for most of the time and then go out. I don't need to be in London, and everybody we've hired here, there's been a huge exodus of people that I work with moving to Somerset. And coming, obviously this is around the Bruton area, which is very trendy. We're in Elminster, which people are coming as far as that now, which I think is a big change, actually, because it's been so noticeable in the last few months even. Around us here, we've got a number of suppliers. Why is buying local important to... No, why is it important? Because it's supporting your community, it's more sustainable, you're working face-to-face with suppliers, and it's just such a joy for me to go and actually work with the people making it, rather than going through somebody in another country with a time difference or just not being able to see. So I went on Saturday, I was in Lake Como, and I went to see some of our printers that do our silk printing and some of our knitwear. And it's the first time I've seen them for 2 years because of the restrictions, pretty much, or a year and a half, first time I've been able to go there. And it's just really nice to be able to jump in the car and off you go to Yeovil, and you go and see things being made, and touch and feel and get involved. And the closeness for creativity, I think, is really important. And to see the factories here where, Axminster, it's all sustainable lamb's wool, all made here, they're amazing. And the team, it's brilliant that people working there have been working there for like 20, 30, 40, 50 years in some cases. Generations, they meet their partners on the loom machines or whatever, they're all very much, it's quite funny, the conversations I've had actually won't go there. I think it's just really important, and it's just a much nicer, more real way of working. And I'm really, really excited to try and keep meeting different people every week or two, go out and actually find people to work with. Because I've cried when I went into, where did I go? I went into Swiss Tulle, which is the biggest tulle factory in the world, which is tulle, if some of you don't know, is like a fine net that you put like lace on, and you make wedding dresses out of them, embroider onto them. So the largest factory in the world is in Chard, which is 9 minutes from my house, and they've machines from 1840, loads of them, whole floor, which is probably about 10 times bigger than this room, of just these machines that I always saw in Lake Como. Anyway, it's in Chard, and it's the most amazing factory with just people doing things that I would never imagine that was right here under our noses in Somerset. And when I went in there, I had my mask on and I just sort of started crying because it was just so amazing. And I've got a thing about machinery, warehousing, probably farm girl in me. But they were making this almost invisible tulle and, fixing holes with invisible kind of just thread. There's just ladies working very quietly and kind of lots of men and women on the big chunky machines. It was just amazing. So I just find that the more I can kind of find here in Somerset. So if any of you are suppliers I can work with, let me know.
You heard it here. Prepare to be swamped as you leave. Do grab a sandwich as well, by the way. We've got some very nice sandwiches that have been arriving throughout the morning. That looks very tasty. Lunch will be served soon after we meet Keith. But before we go to some questions, if you have maybe another 5 minutes or so, please. I think we just need to touch on the future of Temperley. And what are your future plans? We've heard about the new Somerset. I'm sure we'll try and twist your arm and get you to change it to Visit Somerset as a line. But that's exciting. What are the future plans? 5 years ahead, are you able to spill some beans? And how do people here connect with you? Or how does the general populace of Somerset and beyond connect with you as a brand?
You can connect anytime by coming to our bar and coming to see our space. And we're going to be doing a lot more in there. We hope to have eventually a restaurant and a spa and really make it a destination. There's a lot of space. We've only done about 6,000 square foot and we've got 28,000 square foot. So that's going to take some time. And the plans for the brand, really now we've managed just about to survive the last year or two, which has been nothing short of a miracle, really, considering, is we're at Milan Fashion Week at the moment, then we're off to Paris, but the wholesale business is picking up again. Bridal business is obviously opening back up. The Somerset collection is really exciting for next year. So 22 is my lucky number. 22 is next year. It will also be 22 years of first starting to sell stuff with the name Temperley in the back. And we've signed lots of licensing agreements. So we've got jewellery coming out, a huge homeware license coming out, a stationery. So lots of different things that don't make us just clothing, because it's got a bit boring just doing clothing. It has to be more of a lifestyle element. Wow. So there's a huge homeware offering being launched in next September, and that's what we're working on at the moment. So in Somerset, it's really about being the home of Temperley, and the home of Temperley is our place in Ilminster, our Temperley HQ. So you can all come and see us there, and we're very welcoming, and we're very proud to be back.
It's a very, very welcoming invite, and we wish you the best of British luck and international luck now as you make the move back here more permanently and supporting the local economy with everything that you've done. It would be remiss, it's not on my list of questions, but it's dawned on me actually, having seen the guest list today, the majority of people here are actually owner-operators or managers or even founders in a number of cases, much like yourself. You went through Central St Martin's, Royal College of Art, the greatest places on earth in my opinion, to do fashion right there with the McQueen.
I didn't, I'd never studied fashion. I still don't like fashion.
What did you...
There's a revelation.
Textiles? Graphic design?
No, I did textiles. So it was all about, for me, it's about the making and the manufacturing, and like the fashion bit at the end is almost a bit annoying. But it's really about the process and the way things make you feel and the escapism from when I really started doing it.
Yes.
After when I was really young, it's just the way things make you feel. But the fashion side of things, I really don't like it when people call me a fashion designer, funnily enough, because...
Textiles.
Well, not that. It's more of when the life and the homeware and the world of comes, that would be more, it's just design, but it's not fashion.
I hear you. So if there's a single tip, if there's something we could mine from 20 years plus of success on the world stage in business, what's your secret? If there's one tip for prevailing in business, particularly given the last 19 months we've all been through here?
Stubbornness, I think, not giving up, because there's so many times that I could have just thought, God, enough's enough. Because we've been through like pandemics, recessions. If we're selling in America and something happens, or the first bit of the crash and, big business in Russia and that stops, and like the wholesale business is sliding around. And in this pandemic, we decided to go more direct to consumer, so working more on our internet and that not relying on that wholesale, because you just never know what's going to happen. But then we open up a warehouse in Italy and they all get COVID, or then we work with another supplier and something happens, or something happens in the chain. I mean, you just have to be made of something that you can just maybe. Maybe. Or, yeah, I think there are definitely easier businesses to be in. So
let's have a plug for Somerset Cider as well.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
always.
Good stuff. Okay, look.
Maybe that's it.
We've got some. I'm sure we've got some questions here for Alice Temperley, MBE. Let's have it. We've got a time for probably just 2 questions on this occasion. So please don't be shy. Please do raise your hand and just say your name on this occasion and your question for Alice. It's a unique opportunity to hear from a titan in the world of, well, so many more things as well we've discovered today. So let's have a question, please. We've got a roving mic. Yes, we do. Don't be shy now, all you owner operators. Miranda's had a shout, but let's back over to Miranda.
Hi, I'm just curious, and I'll have a look at your Somerset line. I'd love to see it. But has being in Somerset and having some more dirt up your fingernails affected your designs? And are you going to produce some stuff for scruffing around in?
Good question. So we've just launched the outerwear in Dorset, which is military police grade, waterproof, sustainable, organic, certified cotton, printed in England, made in Dorset. Some fleece lined things. We do a lot of denim, a lot of knitwear. That has changed things. Obviously we do evening gowns, and obviously I've got stores in the Middle East and they like nothing but glittery kind of gowns. But maybe it's also farm girl / that film noir, love of film noir and that Hollywood thing, but it has to be a fuse for me, and I think that's the way I like it worn. I don't like everything to be all done and matching and fashion or too Middle East perceived. I like, she needs to be running through a field in Somerset in my head of how I like the brand to be perceived. So maybe it's a little bit more aspirational in a sort of different way. Certainly not an Italian fashion brand, it's certainly based down here. And that's farm girl and sticking to your roots. And if I came all airs and gracie with like perfect hair and matching shoes and a handbag, my parents probably not speak to me again. They'd be like, yeah, who are you?
Thank you, Alice, and thank you, Miranda, for a great question. I know John's got a question about production in Somerset. You're good for business, Alice, as well, not just good for styling. Oh, Lucy Pope, over to you. Lucy Pope, got a microphone.
Hi, I'm Lucy Pope from Weston College. Fascinating to hear you and hear your story. I'm putting you on the spot, but extending an invitation. So at Weston College, we have an incredibly successful creative faculty, and it would be fantastic if you'd be able to, whether it's digitally or in person, come along and give some inspirational talks to some of the students, because I just know they would it would help them fly.
Sure.
So I'm extending the invitation.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you very much indeed.
Flattered.
Thank you, Lucy. Weston College are an absolute innovator, one of the very, very best universities in the country. And we have a question here. From the... Yes, please say your name and...
Somerset Toiletry Company. I was just wondering if you were looking for people to work with in Somerset. We produce private label in terms of bath and body care. So, yeah, would love to talk to you if you'd ever want to explore that.
Great, I definitely. Anybody that's making anything that's interesting in the lifestyle arena in Somerset, I'm all over it.
Wonderful.
Please.
Thank you very much indeed. And just one last question from John about production, I think, in terms of the facility and how it's actually going to scope up. Over to you, John.
Thank you. Yeah, Alice, obviously you'll be producing in Somerset, I believe. So what's that going to look like? Are you going to be teaming up with anybody in particular?
Well, there's one in Dorset, which is Fortis, which is outerwear. We've got also Axminster Carpets, which is also Dorset. Pittards in Yeovil, which is brilliant for leather. We just started doing these amazing drinks canister bags. I think we've had the whole team just working on them all of last week, and you open them up and there's 3 flasks inside, and it's our love bag, which is for gifting this side of Christmas. And what else are we making? The Swiss Tulle, we're going to be working with them, making things for our bridal. And who else are we working with? I'm missing somebody. I think that's it at the moment. Rugs, leather, outerwear, and looking for more. And in our atelier in our place in Ilminster, all of our excess fabrics, all of our nice Italian jacquards get made up into things. There's no wastage. And eventually, when we can do the roofs and the building in the back, we'll have another production to do sort of soft dresses and kind of more clothing.
Just finally, if the opportunity arises, clearly you are our Buy Somerset ambassador, supporting people buying within the county, from outside and in the county. Cheeky question, but if we have some of our producers that wanted to come down to your offices in Ilminster to have a small kind of intimate kind of conversation with you, and we can talk about Buy Somerset as well and our plans moving forward as we launch our e-commerce strategy, is that something that we could do with you and your team?
Yeah, absolutely. We will definitely be here to support everything made here in Somerset. We can collaborate, great, and if it works with the brand. We're also doing a Christmas fair at some point in November, so that could be a great way of promoting people too. But yeah, I'm really interested to see as much as possible, and I feel like it was insanity that I didn't know after 20 years of being in London and all over the place that some of these suppliers were right under my nose all along.
And that's really important, and I'm so proud of the team that we are going to be working with Alice and the Temperley team to support Temperley in Somerset and beyond, and it's a huge privilege. So a lot of our marketing communications will support that moving forward. So do watch out for events, for opportunities, for retail opportunities that will come up through Temperley. But a huge privilege, and thank you so much, Alice.
I'm delighted to be honest.
Really pleased.
Ambassador.
Thanks, John. Cracking question, and Alice, again, thank you for sharing the insights about your plans. Welcome back to the Southwest. I'm a Londoner who came here and embraced it. I'm not going anywhere, and it's been absolutely lovely to talk to you today. I know your time is incredibly precious, and your partner as well. You've got renovations, expansion, and maybe some of the guests here today who haven't had a chance to ask their question, you can pop it on a pad, and maybe John can forward that on to you in time, maybe publish it in our newsletter with your consent. But thank you so much, and really best of British luck as you come back and return, and all the new projects, and thank you for supporting here. And also, very apt, Chris is here today, the CEO of the Haynes Motor Museum, another international brand, and he did say to me, you can pick any car you want and drive it home. There you are.
Cheers.
Yeah, wonder which car that would be. Take your pick. Don't tell him. The keys are in the ignition, don't you, Roy? Thank you so much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, Alice Temperley, thank you. Thank you.